In a mere 7 seconds, people decide whether they like you. That's less time than it takes to respond to a text message or tie your shoes. In these critical moments, our body language, vocal tone, and even our gaze transmit signals that shape how others perceive us. The surprising truth is, you don't need to be the smartest, funniest, or best-dressed person to make an excellent first impression. What truly counts is connection. And it's a skill we can all master, beginning with 3 straightforward habits. It might be hard to believe, but we all inherently desire to be liked, whether we're at work, with friends, or even encountering strangers. There's an undeniable pull to feel accepted and seen. Recall a time someone made you feel valued. Perhaps they genuinely listened, remembered your name, or showed sincere interest in your story. That moment likely resonated with you because it touched upon a universal human need, the desire for connection. As Marcus Aurelius, the esteemed Stoic philosopher, observed, we are made for each other. Relationships, whether momentary or profound, are central to everything we do. Yet, here lies the paradox. The harder we strive to be liked, the less authentic we appear. The key isn't to impress others. It's about making them feel important. By mastering a few subtle skills, you can transform how people respond to you. You don't have to alter who you are to be likable. You simply need to understand what makes people feel valued, heard, and seen. In this video, we'll explore the simplest techniques to instantly make anyone like you. Before we dive in, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on more incredible videos like this. Let's get started. Why is being liked so difficult? Have you ever ended a conversation, replaying every word you uttered, wondering if you came across as awkward? Perhaps you were trying to make a good impression, meticulously choosing your words, smiling at just the right moment, but the connection still felt off. That disheartening feeling of, I should have done better, is far more common than you'd think. In fact, it's one of humanity's most shared experiences. The reality is, social interactions often come with a quiet, persistent fear of rejection. It's that tiny voice in your head whispering, what if they don't like me? What if I say something wrong? This fear can lead to overthinking, causing us to analyze every gesture, word, or pause instead of being present. Insecurity creeps in, and before you know it, your focus is more on your own performance than on the person in front of you. Now, let's consider modern distractions. Social media has conditioned us to connect through screens, liking, commenting, and sharing. However, face-to-face conversations demand a level of vulnerability and presence that can feel overwhelming. Maintaining eye contact feels more challenging, silences become more awkward, and the urge to check your phone can pull you away from the moment. These seemingly minor habits erode our ability to quickly build trust in real-life interactions. Imagine meeting someone new at a gathering. You try to initiate a conversation, but midway through they glance at their phone or offer a distracted nod. Suddenly, you feel unimportant, even if they didn't intend to dismiss you. Such moments occur daily, creating invisible barriers between us. But there is hope. Being likable isn't about being flawlessly charming or effortless. It's about understanding the subtle human ways we can bridge those gaps, ways anyone can learn. The good news is you don't have to guess. There are proven techniques to help you cut through the noise, connect deeply, and leave a lasting impression. So let's stop overthinking and start learning. The secret to being instantly liked isn't a mystery. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be mastered through practice. A surprising key to connection: the power of genuine attention. Imagine entering a room bustling with people, each engrossed in their own conversations. Now, picture someone turning toward you, making eye contact. Not in a staring way, but with warmth and presence, and genuinely listening to what you have to say. You'd feel important, wouldn't you? Valued, respected. That's the transformative power of genuine attention. It's a gift we all yearn for but seldom receive or give. Have you ever been in a conversation where it felt like the other person wasn't truly engaged? Perhaps they kept checking their phone, interrupted you mid-sentence, or nodded absently while their mind wandered elsewhere. These moments vividly remind us how rare genuine attention has become. Yet, the ability to make someone feel truly seen and heard is one of the quickest ways to forge a connection. In fact, your undivided attention is among the most valuable gifts you can offer. It is the very foundation of likability. At its core, genuine attention is not complex, but it does require intention. People don't just want to be heard, they want to feel understood. When you focus entirely on the person in front of you, you're offering them something they might not even realize they crave. Consider it this way: attention is like sunlight. Just as plants flourish when exposed to light, people thrive when they feel noticed and valued. The good news: you can master this skill with a few simple yet powerful habits. Begin with eye contact. Natural, consistent eye contact conveys an unspoken message. I'm here and I'm listening. Look directly at the person you're speaking to, but don't overdo it. Staring too intently can feel intimidating, so think of it as a gentle rhythm. Allow your gaze to shift occasionally, but always return to theirs to show you're present. This simple act builds trust faster than any words can. Next, practice listening without interrupting. All too often, we're so eager to share our own thoughts that we jump in before the other person is finished. Or worse, we're already formulating our response while they're still speaking. But true listening means setting aside your own agenda and giving others your full attention. Let them finish. Even during moments of silence, resist the urge to fill the gap. Sometimes those pauses offer people the space to share something deeper. Another crucial habit is reflecting their words back to them. When someone shares something important, repeat a part of what they said or summarize it in your own words. For instance, you might say, "It sounds like you're saying," or "What I'm hearing is." This not only demonstrates that you're listening, but also helps clarify the conversation. It communicates to the other person, "I hear you and I value what you're saying. Allow me to share a brief story." A friend once felt incredibly out of place at a networking event. She stood quietly in a corner, unsure how to initiate a conversation. Eventually, someone approached her and asked, "How are you finding the event so far?" It wasn't the question itself that mattered. It was the way the person listened. They maintained eye contact, nodded thoughtfully, and reflected her words without interruption. That 5-minute exchange left her feeling understood and comfortable, all because someone took the time to truly listen. This is the kind of impact you can have on others when you give them your full attention. It's not about having perfect responses or dazzling them with charm. It's about making them feel important. Even the Stoics recognized the power of listening. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." In silence, we open ourselves to understanding others on a deeper level. By speaking less and listening more, we not only connect with others, but also gain insight into their unique perspectives, struggles, and strengths. I once employed this approach during a tense work situation. A colleague approached me, frustrated and overwhelmed about a project. Instead of immediately offering advice, I simply listened. I nodded occasionally, maintained eye contact, and reflected their feelings. "It sounds like you're feeling stuck." That simple acknowledgement eased their tension. By the end of the conversation, they thanked me, not for solving their problem, but for making them feel heard. When you give someone your undivided attention, you're doing more than just listening. You're creating a safe space for them to express themselves fully. This kind of connection is rare, and consequently, it's unforgettable. People won't always remember the exact details of what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And in those moments of genuine attention, likability becomes effortless. How to connect without pretending, mirroring without losing yourself. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection, as if you'd known them for years? Chances are it wasn't just luck. Subtle mirroring was likely at play. Mirroring, when executed naturally, creates a subconscious sense of similarity between two individuals. And here's the truth. When people feel a resemblance to you, they are more likely to trust and like you. But let's be clear. Mirroring is not mimicry. It's not about copying someone's every gesture or parroting their words. That would feel awkward and insincere, wouldn't it? Instead, mirroring is a delicate balance. It's about harmonizing with the other person's energy, like two voices blending in a song. It's subtle enough to go unnoticed, yet powerful enough to build genuine rapport. The psychology behind it is straightforward. Humans are instinctively drawn to those who seem similar to them. It's an evolutionary response. Similarity signals familiarity and safety. When you subtly match someone's body language, tone, or speech, pace, their brain registers. This person gets me. This creates an unspoken connection even before a single meaningful word is exchanged. Let's break it down into simple steps. First, match their energy level and pace of speech. If someone speaks slowly and deliberately, resist the urge to rush your words. Instead, slow down and align with their rhythm. Conversely, if someone is animated and enthusiastic, allow your tone to reflect their energy. This alignment creates a natural flow, making the interaction feel seamless. Next, mirror their positive body language. Pay attention to how they position themselves. Are they leaning slightly forward, using open hand gestures, or nodding as they speak? By subtly mirroring these movements, you send a non-verbal message that says, "I'm with you." But remember, subtlety is crucial. Avoid exaggerated gestures or mimicking every movement, as this can appear forced or even mockingly insincere. Finally, adapt to their communication style. Some people speak formally, choosing their words with precision, while others are casual and conversational. When you adjust your style to match theirs, you create a sense of alignment that puts them at ease. For example, if someone uses straightforward, no-nonsense language, avoid overly flowery phrases. On the other hand, if they speak with warmth and enthusiasm, let your tone reflect that openness. Think of mirroring as a dance. You're not trying to copy their steps exactly. You're simply moving in sync with their rhythm. This is what makes it feel natural, like harmonizing in music. Mirroring is about blending seamlessly without losing your individuality. Here's an example of how it works. A colleague once shared a story about a job interview that felt like an uphill battle. The interviewer was reserved, spoke softly, and maintained a formal tone. Initially, my colleague, who is naturally outgoing and energetic, struggled to find common ground. But instead of overwhelming the interviewer with her usual enthusiasm, she adjusted her energy, softened her tone, and matched their formal communication style. By the end of the interview, they were exchanging ideas with ease. The shift wasn't drastic. It was subtle and intentional, and it left a lasting impression. The power of mirroring isn't limited to professional settings. It can transform everyday interactions as well. Picture this. You're meeting someone new at a social event. They lean slightly forward as they speak, so you mirror that subtle movement. They gesture with open hands, and you occasionally do the same. They're casual and conversational, so you keep your tone light and approachable. Without realizing it, they feel more connected to you, as if you're already on the same wavelength. Even Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of understanding others as a way to build trust. While he didn't write directly about mirroring, his teachings align with its principles. By observing and adapting to others, you foster harmony and connection, a foundation for mutual respect. Now let's address the concern of losing yourself in the process. Some people worry that mirroring means abandoning their authenticity. But here's the thing. You're not changing who you are. You're meeting the other person where they are. It's about finding a balance between being yourself and being adaptable. When done correctly, mirroring feels natural, like a shared language that helps you both feel at ease. I once used this approach during a challenging interaction with a frustrated client. They were visibly tense, spoke quickly, and used short, clipped sentences. Instead of maintaining my usual calm, measured tone, I subtly picked up my pace and mirrored their directness. Gradually, I noticed their tension ease. They began to open up, and we ended the meeting on a positive note. What could have been a difficult conversation turned into a productive one, all because I adjusted to their communication style. Mirroring isn't about manipulation. It's about connection. It shows the other person that you're paying attention not just to their words, but to their energy, emotions, and unspoken cues. And when people feel understood on that level, they naturally feel drawn to you. This is the art of mirroring, blending into their rhythm without losing your own voice, creating harmony without stealing the melody. The secret to effortless connections. Be authentically interested. Authenticity is one of the most magnetic traits you can possess. When you show genuine curiosity about someone else, it doesn't just make them feel valued. It creates a connection rooted in trust and mutual respect. People are drawn to those who care, not out of obligation, but because they genuinely want to. And the beauty of this approach? It shifts the focus away from you and onto them, which naturally builds likability. Consider the last time someone seemed genuinely interested in your story. Perhaps they asked a question that went beyond small talk, or they lit up when you shared something you cared about. Those moments stand out because they feel rare in a world where so much communication is superficial. When you show authentic interest in someone, it's as if you're telling them, you matter. To put this into action, start by asking thoughtful, open-ended questions. Instead of the typical, how are you? Try something like, what's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week? Or, what's something you're passionate about that most people don't know? These kinds of questions invite the other person to share something meaningful, and they give you insight into who they are. The key is to listen fully and resist the urge to turn the conversation back to yourself too quickly. Another powerful way to show interest is by validating their feelings or achievements. If someone shares something they're proud of, acknowledge it with a sincere compliment. For example, if a friend tells you about a project they've been working on, respond with, "That sounds like a huge accomplishment. I admire how much effort you've put into it." Validation doesn't mean flattery. It's about recognizing what matters to them and reflecting it with honesty. But being authentically interested isn't just about listening. It's also about sharing a piece of yourself in return. If someone opens up about a personal story, respond with something relatable from your own life. For example, if they're excited about starting a new hobby, share a time you felt the same way when trying something new. This balance of listening and sharing creates a two-way bridge of connection. It's how we move from being strangers to forming meaningful bonds. Authenticity, in this sense, is like a bridge. It's the structure that allows two people to cross the divide of unfamiliarity and meet in the middle. Without it, conversations feel mechanical or forced. With it, connections become effortless and memorable. A few years ago, I met someone at a workshop who seemed reserved and hesitant to engage. Instead of asking generic questions, I inquired about the workshop's topic and why they'd chosen to attend. A small shift opened a floodgate. They shared a personal story about struggling with self-doubt and being there to learn how to overcome it. As they spoke, I validated their courage and shared my own experience with tackling self-doubt. By the end of that conversation, we weren't just participants at the same event. We were two people who had connected on a deeper level. This kind of authentic interest is something the Stoics understood well. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of understanding others, observing their nature, and treating them with kindness. Authenticity, at its core, is about aligning your actions with your values. When you approach someone with genuine curiosity, you're showing them your true self while inviting them to do the same. But let's be clear. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or losing yourself in the process. It's not about impressing others or trying too hard to find common ground. Instead, it's about being fully present and open, allowing the connection to unfold naturally. If someone senses that your interest is forced or self-serving, it can have the opposite effect. That's why it's so important to stay grounded in your intentions. A historical example of authenticity's power comes from Abraham Lincoln. Known for his genuine curiosity and ability to connect with others, Lincoln often asked people about their lives, their struggles, and their perspectives. He once said, "I am a slow walker, but I never walk back," which reflected his belief in moving forward, with understanding and sincerity. His authentic approach to relationships made him one of the most respected leaders of his time. Always remember that being authentically interested doesn't just make others feel good, it enriches your own life. The more you learn about people, the more you understand the diversity of human experience. You discover new perspectives, new stories, and new ways of seeing the world. And in turn, you become someone people naturally gravitate toward, not because of what you say, but because of how you make them feel. So the next time you're in a conversation, focus less on impressing and more on connecting. Ask questions that matter. Listen without distraction, and share pieces of yourself with sincerity. Authenticity isn't just a trick for being likable. It's a way of life that builds trust, deepens relationships, and leaves a lasting impact on everyone you meet. The mindset shift. That changes everything. When it comes to being likable, the real secret isn't in strategies or techniques, but in a fundamental shift in how you perceive yourself and others. At its core, being liked isn't about external performance. It's a reflection of your internal mindset. The more self-aware and self-accepting you are, the more naturally you'll connect with others. But the opposite is also true. When insecurities cloud your interactions, they can build walls where bridges should be. One of the biggest obstacles to likability is the fear of rejection. You've likely experienced it before, that internal dialogue asking, "Am I saying the right thing?" Or, "Do they like me?" This self-focus often backfires. When your energy centers on being liked, you risk appearing needy or insincere. People sense when interactions are transactional, and it makes them pull away. As counterintuitive as it sounds, the key to being liked is letting go of the need to be liked. This concept ties deeply into Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control how someone perceives you, but you can control how you present yourself. This shift in focus, from worrying about their approval to simply being your best self, frees you to engage more authentically. Likability isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about showing up as the truest version of you. To adopt this mindset, the first step is self-awareness. Pay attention to how your insecurities manifest in conversations. Do you talk over others to prove your worth? Do you downplay your achievements to avoid judgment? Recognizing these patterns isn't about self-criticism. It's about understanding how fear can silently guide your interactions. Next comes self-acceptance. The first step to being liked begins with embracing your imperfections. When you stop pretending to be flawless, you give others permission to do the same. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, is one of the most likable traits you can possess. Admit when you don't know something, laugh at your mistakes, and share stories that reveal your humanity. People are drawn to those who are real, not perfect. A few years ago, I met someone at a networking event who had a profound impact on me. They weren't the most charismatic person in the room, nor did they have a polished elevator pitch. But their presence was magnetic. What stood out was their genuine interest in everyone they spoke to. When they asked questions, they truly listened. When they shared their thoughts, They spoke with humility and openness. At one point, they admitted they felt nervous at large events, but viewed them as opportunities to learn about others. That vulnerability, combined with their attentiveness, made them unforgettable. Reflecting on this experience, I realized that people liked them because of their mindset, not their charm or confidence. It was their mindset. They weren't trying to prove themselves. They were focused on connecting meaningfully. Their self-awareness and self-acceptance allowed them to engage without pretense, and it was incredibly refreshing. Stoicism offers profound guidance here. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Applying this to likability, it's not about building the perfect impression. It's about how you respond to the people and situations around you. Are you defensive or open? Are you guarded or vulnerable? The way you react shapes the energy you bring into every interaction. So the next time you walk into a room, remember, being liked isn't about perfection or strategy. It's about being present, being real, and being kind. When you embrace this mindset of connection, you'll witness your relationships transform, not just with others, but with yourself. At its heart, being liked isn't about mastering a checklist of social skills. It's about forging genuine connections. The 3 tricks we've explored, giving your undivided attention, subtly mirroring others without losing your authenticity, and showing sincere interest, are tools to help you connect with people on a deeper level. They're not about pretending to be someone you're not. They're about becoming more of who you truly are. Small changes can lead to significant transformations. A kind word, a moment of genuine curiosity, or the courage to lower your guard can turn a fleeting interaction into something meaningful. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to be likable. What matters most is your willingness to be present and let others see your true self. Which of these habits resonates most with you, or do you have a secret to building instant connections? Let me know. I'd love to hear your story. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insightful content. And remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video like this one.